Hello all and welcome to the second presentation of the fourth day of the AI Cloud and Modern Workplace Conference 2026. We are with a very special guest today. At first, I need to say a few things. We have the honor to welcome Joanna Vathis as a distinguished speaker of the AI Cloud and Modern Workplace Conference. Joanna is an MVP specializing in M365 Copilot and Exchange, and a highly respected cybersecurity and AI manager with over 25 years of experience in development, technology strategy, organizational transformation, and enterprise solution delivery. Curious by nature, strategic by design, and driven by purpose, she brings a rare combination of analytical depth and human-centered insights to every initiative she leads. Her background spans Microsoft technologies, AI systems, cybersecurity, frameworks, modern workplace transformation and education, make her a trusted voice for leaders navigating the rapidly evolving intersection of AI, security, and productivity. But first of all, Joanna, she's a good friend. She's a woman who always willing to help, and she's always. We deeply appreciate her presence at every our action. So, Joanna, very warm welcome that you're here today. We discussed a lot in pre-live. I cannot share what we are discussing during the pre-live, and I think that the next time we need to have a video what happened in pre-live, okay?
Backstage
and then
video.
to make a video, we called it how we called it in Greece. We called it.
I don't remember.
Backstage, the
Yeah.
backstage,
It's
the
the
backstage. Yes,
backstage. This is what I
I
thought.
think that we need to keep this video for the next AI and Cloud Model Workplace Conference. Joanna, very welcome. A very
Thank
warm
you.
welcome. The stage is yours.
Really appreciate your kind words. Really amazing to be here for a second year in a row. Um, I love those events. I love to share technology, knowledge, and I saw at the moment that this year, basically, there were plenty of speakers previously with plenty of different topics in AI technology in Fabric. We saw Fabrics. We saw on Wednesday the keynotes with Marco and Gia for Fabric. We saw plenty of things in security, Defender XDR, and have more to come. My topic basically it's simple but very strong in the background. What I mean very strong, your data, your control, your copilot. Three types, and three types basically very strong. Why? Your data. All the organizations, they have data inside. And what basically we will concentrate today, we will focus in which areas we will focus. Of course, as you can understand, when we refer to data, we refer to purview, protection, and not only. In this part, I want to share some information from the backstage. Yes, Konstantine, I will share this information for the backstage. Konstantinos make fun with my tech comic, but I don't care. I love my tech comic and I will continue to present it. So let's see our agenda for today. What we will see? We will see the topics about this, how the security model works in Microsoft 365 Copilot, data, information, your data, your rules. It's important. How to protect basically the systems in the background, how it's working before we implement Copilot, Copilot, Microsoft 365, the security for the chat Copilot and not only. How we'll secure and not distribute and spread our data across the globe. how the encryption works, how to monitoring everything, basically the defense and monitoring for all AI platforms, and of course some best practice and deployment and recommendation. And I hope we will have time for Q&A discussion. I forgot in between before Q&A discussion the demo. So we will see whatever we can from demo perspective. Let's start how to secure our Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot. Before we implement in our organization, basically, Copilot, let's say we are a large organization, an enterprise organization, and we proceed and buy some license for our users for Office Copilot, plus the Chat Copilot. We need to have the security in place. Why I'm saying that? Yes, okay, our users, we assign the license and they have the Copilot license and they can play around. But the most important part is that we need to have a security structure. If it's an enterprise organization that now it's moved to cloud for first time, they start the implementation, the migration from on-prem environment. How many organizations? Plenty of organizations. We saw that they are new in Microsoft 365, basically in Microsoft ecosystem cloud. So before we proceed with assigning the license to the user, we need to protect our environment. Of course, by default, Copilot has a protection. Of course, it has a protection by default, but we are talking about organizations, and this is the most important. We don't want our data, org data, to get spread outside of the organization, and of course, to secure those parts. As you can see from the screenshot here, there are parts of zero trust model that what we can do in order to increase the security for preventing our data to move outside of our organization. And we will continue. Part of this, really important, is the CAP, Conditional Access Policy, or shortcut is CAP, it's called CAP, Conditional Access Policy, MFA, RBAC, labels, DLP, Defender, Defender XDR, DSPM, etc. Those are things, and also something that it's very nice to say that, something that Konstantinos Boutsioulis will love because he is SharePoint guy and MVP, of course. Of course, the first part is the SharePoint security. We will show and we will try to demonstrate basically all the parts from security, because there exist some new nice features for in Purview that came lately and it's coming also in the rolling stage, and we are lucky that we can see some of private preview basically of those parts that we can share and we can demonstrate. It's not under NDA, you know that we have a restriction. So we will see whatever we can in the demo and how to work together and increase the security. As we mentioned, to secure your data, in order to secure your data, we mentioned about MFA, multi-factor authentication, conditional access policy, privileged identity management, sharing restriction, which is SharePoint part. One of the things basically is in SharePoint, the labels, the retention, the indexing rules, the DLP, the data loss prevention, logs, MCAS, policy about applications, and of course, all this part plus for end users, we need, after we complete all the security, the training part. When we don't have the training part for the end users, we cannot educate our user even if we have the most restrict security parts in Microsoft 365 about Copilot. If you don't educate your user in any basically division, not only for Copilot, but when we educate our users as an organization, we guide them how to use smarter a tool, any tool, as we're referring today about Microsoft 365 Copilot. And this is basically something that we discussed with Yorgos before
We have
we
a
joined.
question. We have a
Yes.
question. Could you share the prompt you used to make this awesome image? It looks really great.
Secret. This is a secret. So, Konstantinos Boutsioulis,
No, I will
you.
not share. I don't know how he's
Oh,
doing it.
no, Konstantinos. You can share your opinion about my tech comic.
No, I will not share my opinion. Definitely no.
Okay. I will tell you later about how it happens. Basically, I'm using one of my images, real image, and I put my image in tech comic. You remember Lara Croft? Lara Croft, they took a original character, a real character, and make it as an animation. So this is what I did, and I use Copilot in order to create it, to be specific. But I will tell you later about my comic and about the character. Allow me to complete it. We will have time, I promise. And because the presentation is not too big, I want to make demo more. Slide decks, it's not, it's sometimes getting boring, and especially in the morning time. So allow me to complete, and I will answer the question at the end. So, as we mentioned, if we don't have a training, if we don't train our users, they will not be able to understand the maturity, the why, as we say, why they have to use and how they have to use any AI tool, not only Copilot. It's something simple, clever, and steps by steps that it has to happen, the process. It's really important, the education of the user. Let's move to zero trust. Every slide, it has a comic with a character, of course. And we see here about zero trust, the least privilege, MFA, microsegmentation, which is the monitoring, the traffic, which we can do it with DSPM for AI, and everything that include the model of zero trust. Basically, it's covered for all the scenarios that we mentioned before. DLP, retention, sensitivity labels, and not only conditional access, MFA, etc. That's why I'm going faster in the presentation, because I want to go to demo. So how we will apply zero trust model in an AI system? First of all, something before the companies, enterprise organization, they have to know, any organization basically, before they proceed to implement a zero trust model, and especially zero trust for AI, what are the prerequisites that they have to keep in mind? First of all, verify your data. What kind of data you have in your organization? You are in finance, you are IT, you are anything, basically. If we think about it, any organization include all the departments, finance, accounting, HR, IT, plenty. But mostly, if you are an enterprise company and you are a finance company, you have plenty of very important information about customers, IBANs, sensitive info types, basically, which is the IBANs is the credit card, it's passports, anything. So this is the most important, to know your data. Then you have to apply least privilege to AI, which you can perform it through conditional access policy, through the RBAC role, etc. Limit AI to prevent data leakage. DLP. DLP, it's the most important. And we will see what new we have in the DLP world for Copilot, for AI. Monitoring, whoever wants to say with different pronunciation. Monitor AI behavior continuously. It exists the DSPM for AI tool inside in Purview. And of course, not only the alerting in DLP, the Activity Explorer, everything. It's a huge gallery of tools. Also, we have the DSPI, apologies for the DSPI, which is a new tool in Purview. Microsoft announced it in the Ignite on November. This was the first availability about DSPI, which it's a really amazing tool. We will have a pass through. Plenty of reportings. Microsoft generate plenty of new reporting features in Purview about analysis and everything. Enforce micro-segmentation for AI workloads. That means that we have to increase the security in SharePoint. We have to go to other apps and fix it to create conditional access about applications, etc. And automate policy and enforcement, which is done by all the previous things that we mentioned. Your data, your rules. A really important sentence. Why we mean it's your data and your rules. Every organization has their own data, personal org data, not personal data, and personal, of course. So you control, you make the rules, you create the rules, how your data, they will distribute internal and external of your organization. So here you have your model. Every organization is different, so that's why I'm not going to specific scenario about your data, your rules. So every organization, they have their own scenario, how they will create basically the whole philosophy, how we will distribute our information inside and outside of our organization. So the model that you have to share your data is your structure. The security is standardized. For example, we have standard steps to increase the security and best practice from Microsoft related to Copilot. And not only, basically, we have all the best practices. And before, because I was asked about this question before, also from George, in the backstage, as Konstantinos mentioned. But I'm fan from ChatGPT or Gemini. I love Gemini as end user, and why you force me as organization to put Copilot? Well, there exists a lot of organization, enterprise organization, that they use also Copilot. They have also ChatGPT and Gemini. So how we can, as administrative part, how we can check third-party tools in our ecosystem, Microsoft 365 Cloud ecosystem, how we can check it, how we can track. Of course, we increase our security, and of course, we can track and trace also third-party AI systems. And how we can do that? Through DSPM for AI, that we can add the agents, and we can add the agent, for example, for ChatGPT. I can tell you about that, about ChatGPT, and we can track and trace everything that it happens and come and going in our organization. We have the ability to do that. We have the option, even if the user is using the company, the org account, and connect the ChatGPT, for example, we can track and trace. If he use his personal account, it's a tricky part, but we will talk about it. How to protect now our sensitive information, or acronymus SIT, the sensitive info types. How we can protect the sensitive information that we have in our organization with Copilot. We mentioned labels, retention, DLP, and of course the monitoring part. I would love basically to proceed with the demo. I think we don't have a lot of slides, so just don't panic, breathe. I will be fast, I promise. So I will not stand in the presentation at the moment. I will move forward. Sensitivity labels. It's really, really important. Sensitivity labels. Confidential, high confidential, public. Those are some of the labels that we have, and we can restrict it, even if it's through mobile device, any device, because most of the organization, they have the Intune endpoint/endpoint, and they have also implement the protection system also for their device. So DLP for endpoint plus the secret that I promised that I will show you with the safeguard, just keep the word. We will see how the new logic of DLP is prevent data distribution outside of organization for AI system, for Copilot especially, and not only for any AI system, but of course for Copilot, because we are referring to Microsoft ecosystem and their own systems. So together, all together, labels, data loss prevention, encryption, watermarking inside in the labeling system, it's increasing and the security, so sensitive information to be prevent to distribute outside of organization. And now you will tell me, okay, Joanna, but, okay, sensitivity labels, there exist before Copilot. Yeah, true. How you think that sensitivity labels now it will prevent our data to get shared outside of the organization system through Copilot? I will show you. And before I will go to the next one, let's go directly to the portal. Let me go to the purview. Give me a second to move this one. Okay, I'm in Microsoft Purview. I will go from scratch. I'm logged to Microsoft Purview. I'm with an administrator account, basically. As you can see, this is one of my administrators, so I'm logged as an administrator. So I will navigate to Solutions, Data Loss Prevention. In the Policies, if I click Policies, you will see something magic in your screen. It's not appear at the moment. The magic part, if I click again, the overview, policies, the magic part is this one. When you go for first time in data loss prevention after a while, you will see that Microsoft add a new DLP policy. Or in case that you don't see this screen, and you go from scratch and say, okay, I want to create a DLP policy, go create a policy, you will see the new window, which says Enterprise Application and Devices, which is collaborate with Copilot, and you will see inline web traffic. Okay, there are two different parts. If I go Enterprise Application and Devices, here in the DLP, Country region, of course, you select your region. I will choose European Union, and I will go to the privacy, GDPR, for example. Next. Next. Come on. Slow down. Admin units, I'm moving from here. So you will see the basic parts here. You will not see in policies what I have in the top, even if I click remove. So yeah, this is not true because it didn't replicate yet the conditional access policy. So here I cannot see the DLP policy that I create for Copilot. For beginners, let me tell you, for first time when you enter, you will see the DLP policy for Copilot to create it automatically. That's why you will see here the name default DLP policy protects sensitivity information for Copilot. So here you have a screen. I don't know if I have a screenshot. I don't think I kept the screenshot. Apologize for that. You will see a screen in the top, a ribbon basically that says create a DLP policy for Copilot to protect Copilot Chat and Copilot Microsoft 365 and Copilot Chat. So you navigate. If you want, you can change the name, but okay, I left it default for the demos here. So this is the default description that Microsoft provide, prevent data leakage and oversharing by restricting Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Chat from using sensitivity info in prompts. That means whatever is highlighted as sensitivity label in a document as high confidential or confidential, Copilot will prevent the user will say, sorry, I cannot proceed with this document because it's protected. You don't have permission, etc. So this is the DLP policy. It affects also any user that even if it's connected with his org account from mobility, from mobile devices, iPad or tablets, etc., or laptop, but it has a point if it connects with the org account to Copilot and not using the private account, always it's preventing, in case that is highlighted with high confidential and confidential, it prevents the user to continue with the specific file that is labeled as high confidential. Here, the magic here, just to tell you, if I go in edit in this policy before, basically, I get started with this policy, which is the default policy about Copilot. The ribbon also provide me. That's why it's disappeared because it start replicated because I created yesterday. So it started replication since yesterday after 24 hours. That's why the window is disappearing. You cannot see it. So it basically it's provide me also point me to be specific. It point me to a direction when I create a sensitivity label to add in this sensitivity label the sensitive information type that I want to prevent to get shared outside of the organization. Of course, you can go edit the policy or duplicate the policy and create something different. So if you see in the edit part, this part is not appear when we try to create by ourselves alone the Microsoft Copilot and Copilot Chat policy. This is really important. So it exists a default policy. It was rolled out, if I'm not mistaken, later at the end of the last quarter of 2025, and it's rolling out, but slowly in private preview. So a DLP policy, for example, in my case scenario, it was appeared a couple weeks ago. I just created yesterday. So this is something in the default policy that you can see for Microsoft Copilot and Copilot Chat for DLP policy. Here we have the seeds, the sensitive info types. So in my case scenario, because maybe you have sensitive info type fingerprint seats, for those that they don't care about the local language, they can add also trainable classifiers in this part. In my case scenario, I have some demo, totally demo, add some financial, basically IDs, passports, debit cards, etc. And here also be very careful when you have sensitivity info types, you have to split it. The logic, the best practice of Microsoft is to split it to rules: low, high, and medium. That means that you can control which is really a sensitive info type pattern or not. So here you have the indicators that you can the instance count that you can put depends of the priorities. At the moment, I create only one for example. Here, the condition is the instance, the sensitive info type. If I want, I can add additional sensitivity info types. You see that at the moment, from my side, the sensitivity labels, it's gray out because I have to fix a bit my demo. I have to fix some stuff. So when the sensitivity labels also is not gray out like mine, you can add those sensitivity labels. So sensitive info types plus the sensitivity labels, confidential and high confidential, and you can increase the security and make more restriction. So here what we have: restrict Copilot from processing content, processing prompts, block, default. You cannot change it. This is Microsoft default things that is blocking everything. By default, when you put a confidential with something with confidential label and permission and restriction in a file, Copilot, it will not be able to read it. Or a nice example that we discussed with yours in backstage is that someone a request from ChatGPT. We have Copilot, Chat, and ChatGPT. Someone requests from ChatGPT to create. He uploaded his picture and said, add together a famous singer in this picture. Add together a famous singer. ChatGPT generate the picture. If we go to Copilot Chat, by default, without to have anything as a restriction in the portal or MFA or etc. and everything, if you go to Copilot and say, upload your picture and say, okay, add a famous singer near to me in this picture, the first thing that it will tell you, apologize, but I cannot do that. It's against the law and against the GDPR. So it will not generate, it will not create the picture, no matter what. It prevents to do that. It prevents you to do that. He can suggest you, of course, it's not bullying you. It's just telling you, I cannot do that. But if you want, for example, to create, to add you in, how it was Central Park. I mean, for Friends, the series. If you want me to create a scene that you appear in the scene of Friends Central Park background, I can do that, but without people, without famous characters. So this is a protection. This is something that is not allowed to do that. So as you can see, this is a default, the safeguard policy. The safeguard policy that basically, give me a second. Apologize. So the main thing is that it prevents you, it's increasing the security to protect sensitive information. So imagine without protection is doing that, imagine your safe data, I mean your very sensitive, important information that you don't want to distribute in the globe. This is one of the things. The DLP policy, we show how you can, of course, you're receiving alerting and reports. If I go to cancel, something really important also, Microsoft is, the recommendation of Microsoft about this policy is you have to have it on, not a simulation. It's forcing you to have it immediately, turn it on, not in simulation, because it's taking effect immediately. It's replicated in 24 hours, of course, as a DLP policy. As you know, DLP policy is very slow to take all the necessary information. So in 24 hours, it starts the replication, and that's why it says force it in on. So this is the new safeguard DLP policy. Another important thing, before we have to create the DLP policy, another security part that we have to do in something very fast, because we don't have a lot of time, to be honest, we will go to SharePoint. And we will, first of all, you remember that I told you before we start implementing Copilot in our organization for our users, we have to fix the basic parts for security. The basic parts. The basic parts in, as an administrator, you have to be a SharePoint administrator in order to proceed and setting the policies. You have to go to the policies, setting. Here you can see the policies. And of course, we have all the sharing policy, the important policy for SharePoint /OneDrive. Konstantinos is the master here. So I will go light version, Konstantinos. I'm not SharePoint person, but the basic security that we need to have basically, before we implement Copilot for our end user. Sharing SharePoint is the most important. SharePoint /OneDrive is one of the most important controls before we start implementing Copilot. Why? Because everything go through SharePoint OneDrive, even if you use Teams, even if you use emails, and etc. SharePoint /OneDrive is the most important feature that you have, service, to be specific, that you have to fix the security. So, first of all, limited external sharing by domain. You can do that, but you restrict. This is up to you. Normally, I'm recommend to our customers to not have anyone in the top. OneDrive permission, it depends from SharePoint permission. I mean the tab, you see here. So, because a lot of organizations, they have existing and guest users, they always work with other in parallel, we put it in this level. Next part is to start creating the policies. Do not allow guests to share items they don't know. Very important. Allow only users in specific security groups. This is, again, up to you. The most important is guest access to a site to have limited days to view something. The minimum is 30. Same for people with verification code authentication to re-authenticate every 3 days. This is the minimum again. You can increase the days, depends of what you need to deploy in your organization. File and folders and links, only people in organization who can share the links. I put it in my case scenario. Only people in my organization can share files, not the guest. I can share it with the guest, but who can share? Only people inside my organization. And choose permission about the sharing. View for any file. For example, if someone send share basically a link through OneDrive, I will have view permissions only. So other settings show owners, the names and the people who view. For tracking system, let site owners choose the display and names of people you view, so as an administrative part, and use short links to share files and folders. This is useful basically for when we have a huge link. You don't want to have a huge link in basically in your emails or in the chat. So short links always work. So those are the basic important, really important security that you need to have on SharePoint side. I'm moving from here, except the conditional access policy that everybody, you know how to create a conditional access policy for application, for MFA, for any restriction, because Entra has also the default templates that you can do that. We mentioned about the new DLP policy for protection. Sensitivity labels, I don't know if I have it here open. I will go now, information protection, and you create your sensitivity labels policy. I have some sensitivity labels already in place. You create your sensitivity labels, you publish your sensitivity labels, and then it's taking effect after max 24 hours for the publicity and the it's less, but I'm just say the max time it's 24 hours. So sensitivity labels with restriction, watermark, encryption, everything, it has to be in place. Now about monitoring, we have, I mentioned, let's go fast. Activity Explorer. Activity Explorer, Microsoft adding additional parts in Activity Explorer. As you can see, just check my Activity Explorer. Location, Copilot, 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 Copilot. You can see everywhere Copilot. And of course, the user is myself. Everywhere Copilot. If I click open, I can see the statistics and what I have already done. I have also OneDrive here, labeled applied. That's good. Classifications tab. I can see the sensitive info type. Okay, these all media terms and conditions. So that means it's I'm trying to go and check something that has classification, and I can see the tracking and the trace. And it was today. You can see the time. It has difference in the time, so don't worry, because I didn't fix it yet. So this is one of the important tools for monitoring. Let's go very fast because I have to show you also the other tool that I have access at least. We mentioned about DSPI, DSPM, and DSPI. So security DSI, sorry, security investigation. I'm confusing the names. Data security investigation, a very, very brand new tool that is working with AI for investigation, for data investigation. It's pay as you go. So here it's a tool like for those that they work a lot with Defender XDR, it's basically like air tool investigation. The investigation, the air tool that is working in Defender XDR. The DSPI is also for purview, for security data, to check the DLP, to check the sensitivity, to start scanning and find information. You have trainings you can check here. You have run books, which is in preview, by the way. You can see it's mitigate, analyze, identify, investigation. After the investigation here, use the dashboard. Again, you see, billing, pay as you go. I'm moving from here. I'm just show you around in the tools. I'm going to DSPM. It has DSPM Classic and DSPM in preview. I will go to DSPM for in preview that I have here. More compliance dashboard. Very nice dashboard. Classify or labels. First reporting, data discovery, data protection, and data investigation. You can see my dashboard. In DSPM, data posture management, it's a very nice tool. A very nice tool. You can basically identify plenty of information. I'm just show you my dashboard because we have limited time, and I want to go also a bit in the presentation. You can see AI observability, which you can see everything that is tracking and trace. Also prompt codes, because I add the prompt codes in my chat. The activity of prompt codes, how visual activities, how often I use it the last couple of days. Yes, I used my prompt codes. You can see when I use it and who use it. And you can check all the statistics. And of course, you can see also the interaction details. I will not show you because it's personal. What I ask. So I'm hiding a bit. So I'm moving from DSPM, which has plenty of things. In the reporting, you can see additional more stuff. Ne, Konstantinos, I know you have to stop me. Yeah, I know. Only this part. Basically, I know that you have to stop me. Whoever wants to find updates about Copilot, etc., you can find my blog, Security Nebula AI. You can find a lot of plenty of comics that Konstantinos is not fan of it. In this part, basically, because we have the demo, I want to thank you. I don't know if you have any question for me.
Question, no. We have a discussion during your presentation between attendees. And very important,
Gossipers.
Konstantinos Passadis answered the question.
Of course, it's my guy for
Yes.
taking questions.
So, Joanna, thank you so much. We have to move to the next slot because I saw that our guest is already joined.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your very, very interesting presentation.
It was a pleasure of
For
mine.
us, it's a pleasure and an honoring us every time that we are make an action with George. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a lovely day. Thank
Bye.
you.